Captain Mike here. Today's project, we're going to be replacing some of these vinyl window panels. As you can see on this one, we've got lots of cracks, little micro cracks. So we're going to give it a shot at sewing in new vinyl. Never done that before. See how it goes. Okay, so now we're going to transfer the shape of the existing windows onto the new vinyl. So we're just going to trace that out. We're going to trace it out with a crayon just to give it a rough size. And we are using 40 gauge Strataglass for this job. Okay, now we're going to cut this out and bring it over to the table and start attaching it to the old canvas. Okay, so now we got to prep this to take the new vinyl. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a razor knife and try and get right under this seam and score the old vinyl. This is pretty thick vinyl, so it takes a little pressure. It might take a couple passes. You got to be careful not to go through and cut what's behind it. One trick I've learned, rather than doing freehand, if you can find a flat metal scraper, is to get it under, up to the thread, just pull it back and then score. And just keep working your way down anywhere there's old vinyl that you want to get out. And then once you get all the way around the window, that's going to make removal real easy once the new vinyl is sewn in. And we got to keep that vinyl in there because we got to keep the shape. And then we've got to go around with this basting tape or seam stick. And this is what's going to get the new vinyl to stick in place until we're ready to sew. And you're just going to work your way all the way around. Okay, another thing you're going to need to do is in the corners, just a couple inches in each direction, wherever there's a corner. You're going to want to get all the way through the vinyl and then cut a piece out of the corner here, or score it so you can tear it, because you're going to need something to grab onto when you want to pull the old vinyl out. So we got to have each of the corners have to be loose. Now we'll get ready to put the new vinyl in place and start sewing. Okay, now we're going to get our new vinyl kind of roughed into where it's going to go. Make sure you have some overlap all the way around, and we'll trim it after we're sewn. And then this one has a U-shaped window in it too. So one of the things I found is you want to make sure you got your zippers lined up. Otherwise they could fall either way and be in the way of your thread. So we just tape them down with a little piece of basting tape. And we're looking good here. So we start removing the back side of the basting tape to stick this down and hold it in place. And just want to try and get as many of the wrinkles and bubbles out. This is just a light tack in place. So the new vinyl will stay in place once we get it into the machine. Okay, I'm going to move the camera around so you get a better view of the sewing machine. And this is a big piece of vinyl, so I'm going to have a little help hand feeding it into the machine. So it's kind of heavy. Okay, so we're sewing with a Sailrite Ultra Feed LS straight stitch sewing machine. You need something that's going to handle this heavy fabric. And we're just going to make one pass outside of our tape. Put a couple locking stitches in. Okay, now we're going to make the one pass around the outside of the zipper. On a panel this big, you'll definitely need another set of hands. Okay, now we're going to have to flip the whole thing over to sew the inside of the rain flap, because we got to get, we can't get to it from this side, otherwise we'd sew it shut. Okay, now I'm going to run the second stitch around the outside, lock everything in place real tight. We get the 2 runs around the zipper. Second one we'll do now, and I have to sew these straps back in for rolling up the window. So it was hard to see while we're sewing, but this is kind of what we're looking for. And that's what the inside of the canvas will look like with the new isinglass or Strataglass. Okay, now we're ready to trim off the excess vinyl, the new vinyl, and take out the old windows. So the new vinyl comes out pretty easy. You just score it. Make sure you're leaving enough room for the zippers to travel. And at the end, you get a little score all the way through on your line. And just pull. Okay, now we got to cut out the new vinyl to make room for the zipper to travel and get the window to open. So on the very bottom here, you have to be careful. I have to cut through the new vinyl, but you got to be careful not to cut your canvas underneath. You do go through a lot of razor blades. Need a new one. And we have to score each side of the zipper. Again, make sure you leave enough room for the zipper to travel. Now we should be able to rip this out, exposing the zipper. And there we have it. There's our zipper. Now we go back to the old side. And if we scored the windows well enough, they should come out pretty easy. Sometimes the old windows are very brittle and they'll put up a fight. Like that one. And you have to go back and give them a little help. You got to be really careful doing this, because if you go through, you're going to cut all the new work you just did. This old material can get so brittle, and sometimes the scoring just isn't enough because it's so hard. Okay, there we have it. There's our new window.